Okay. All right, I'm live again. What happened just now was that my phone died, and so my internet died. Everything died. Um, every time I talk about Amber and Elon, something happens. It's just like bad luck or something. So anyway, I talked about in my other video. Amber had a child. That's it. That's it. I find it really difficult for me to be hateful or even be truthful when there's a child involved. And I think that she knew exactly what she was doing, because people like me and a lot of people are going to feel bad about saying anything bad. So she got here. So you got all of us, Amber. Anyway, so yesterday, Ashley Morgan, I'm not going to call her Ashley Morgan Smith Line Smithness or whatever the fuck she wants to be called. So Ashley Morgan is the one that did the whole photo shoot for People magazines, whatever. All those publications, they're been treating Manson like he's a criminal, even if he has never been convicted of anything in his life. Also, Manson is one of those celebrities that you cannot find a bad record on the guy. That's what I find it really funny, that these people are just treating him like he's, like one of those rappers, one of those rock stars that was always in court, that was in trouble. No. But anyway, it sucks. In this plus the video I made a couple of days ago of Manson having to, he's going to have to surrender to the police in New Hampshire. And he might be in jail for a couple months to a year for something so dumb like this bit of the camera that actually she's saying right now that it wasn't on the camera, that wasn't her arm several times. I mean, the first time she said it wasn't the camera. So like the guy, I mean, I don't know how he's dealing with this. I hope he's dealing with this well, considering how well can you be in a situation like this. So not only that, he has a warrant for his arrest. Like, that's not enough. It's Ashley Morgan person who was the one that already did accusations about the whole thing. Is she copy and paste everything from, not from Esme, but mostly from Evan. It was the same. The only thing that was different is that Ashley's a model, or was a model, and she was flying all over the place and staying with Manson sometimes. That's the only difference. Everything else was the same. The Nazi knife, the sleep deprivation, the food deprivation, telling her what to wear, branding. But Ashley Morgan says that he cut her, but also he branded her. Like, branding is like we would do to a cow. Not calling her a cow. I'm just saying that's, like to an animal, like brand them. But if she has marks like that's more effective to show than a weird ass picture. Excuse my French. That she showed to People magazine, in which all it is her thigh, and it seems like some type of rash or moles or something like that, or maybe if it's a scratch that I can do to myself right now. It kind of just looks like that. So yeah, I'll just another video. Hold on. So if she was really branded, like it was the branding of a mark, like with his initials or whatever, why she didn't show that instead of a picture of her leg with nothing in it? If she really has a branding, like that is a big, one thing is people self-harming and people cutting, that's really bad enough, and that's a disorder, that's really sad. But somebody branding his initials on you, and she said on her testimony in her court filing that she's suing him for, that he cut her, brand her, did all that stuff. And then in the interview that she did about 3 months ago, that it looks like a photo shoot, most likely, because she's like, oh, I'm telling my truth. And she's posting at the same time. She's saying, well, I got to the point that I started thinking that he was a serial killer, because that's what he wanted. He wanted all of us to kill ourselves. Not even Evan, and Evan has a brain of a mastermind. Not even she came up with that. So he's a serial killer because he dumped your ass, or he ghosted you, or he cheated on you, or whatever. I'm sure whatever he did was kind of shady, whatever. And then you have the need to do all this and do all this circus, okay, and say that he's a serial killer because he wants you to kill yourself. First of all, I need to start that word. I don't like using that word. end your life. Let's call it like that. If you end your life, you cannot blame it on anybody else but yourself. Stop being a child. You can't go and say, well, I have to. This guy wants me to myself, to end my life, to by my own hand. It's his fault if I do it. No, 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 no. No, that is the lamest. No, that's lame. No. If she was having problems like anorexia and bulimia and she weighed 95 pounds, that is not Manson's fault either. There's plenty of pictures of her before and after. She goes from like regular weight like mine to like 90 pounds. And this is kind of part of her life. She has a problem. No, she blames it on him too. It's funny because all these women, Evan, Esme, Ashley, they're all skinny. And they're being skinny with Manson, before Manson, and during Manson. So it's really strange that they all talk about how like he food deprived all of them. And they look exactly the same when they were with him than without him. You know, the best case is the example is Evan Richard Wood, always been really skinny, really pale, really skinny legs, super, not, I'm not going to say white, I'm going to say pale, super pale. And that's kind of how that's been her brand in Hollywood since she started. She was like a weird looking kid that made like fucked up movies. And no, now it's Marilyn Manson's fault because he's food deprived her. She was always pale and she was always skinny. Esme Bianco, Esme was always skinny. She was always pale and always skinny. Ashley Morgan, not only she was skinny, but I believe that she has an eating disorder. I would say I believe because that she has an eating disorder. And it's somebody else's fault that she weighed 95 pounds. No, it's her eating disorder is the problem. Or she was doing drugs, whatever. Or some people don't have to do drugs. Some people really stop eating, and that's a mental disorder. It's nothing to be made fun of. And I'm not doing that, okay? But you cannot blame everything on the guy. You were pale. It's because he didn't open the window. You were tired all the time because he didn't let you sleep. And you were skinny because he didn't let you eat. It just really seems it's like a lot. There's a page that I'm going to put a link under this that it's hard to say it without misspelling it. So I'm just going to put a link. And there's Manson Defender. So I stand by Manson. There's a few. And one of them does a really good job at finding pictures. I don't know if this person is related to Manson or what, but they found these pictures that are amazing of like pictures of the apartment, how the apartment looked like. There's a picture of his kitchen, and you can see is his kitchen because there's paintings, and there's his cat that now passed away, his white cat being a cat, chilling on the kitchen counter. And you can see milk, cereal, a clock, a curtain is open, kind of like I have right here, like some light, food, like there's some alcohol and also some water. I don't know. This whole thing about how the apartment was a dungeon, and then we see pictures of the apartment, and we see there's a black curtain that probably that's where he was rehearsing or taking pictures of himself or the girls or whatever. But there's a part of the apartment, there is this light, there's a clock. Ashley Morgan and Ashley Walters, both of them said that they didn't know what time it was because he kept it always dark and cold, and they didn't know what time of the day it was or what day it was. And guess what? In this picture of Manson's kitchen, there's a clock on the wall, and we're gonna say maybe the clock didn't work. I got plenty of clocks. Sometimes they don't work, and I still have them there because they look pretty. But I think the clock did work, and as a judge is going to have a picture like that and be like, oh wait, oh. Then they said there was no food in the house, and I saw a box of cereal. You can say, well, I cannot live on cereal. Me neither. But that's not food deprivation if there's cereal and milk around. If there's a clock, then you're not disturbed by losing time because you know what time it is. And also there's light. There's not too much light, but there's some light coming from some type of window. So anyway, so go to the Instagram page. I stand by Manson or Manson Defenders. And all these pages kind of show the same info. Amazing. They're doing a really good job. I don't know where and how they got a picture of Manson's kitchen, but for them, it's awesome. I'm really thankful and I'm going to play Ashley Morgan's interview with The View. Of all the things she could have, The View. The View is like, to me, they're always been full of BS, okay? But for the rest of, not the people on YouTube, not the people in the community, not the people that fight for justice for Johnny and for Manson, but just all the people out there in reality, The View, especially for women, is like Bible, okay, for these people. They're gonna just suck it up and believe it and swallow it. And for her to go to The View, oh my God, I mean, it's just like broadcast like all over the country. All the countries probably as well too. But first she went People Magazines, and now she went to The View, talked to not Oprah, Whoopi Goldberg and the other lady, and they're talking about him like he's already in prison. Listen to this. They're talking about him like he's already in prison. It's really disturbing to me. I never, you know what? This is the same way they talk about him in the 90s. And I witnessed that because I'm that old. And I was around when Columbine happened. And this is the same way they treated back then. Different accusations, different puppets, but the same BS. Just treat the guy like a criminal, even if he didn't do anything. Without putting him through a trial. Like, put him through a trial. Like, I don't know. Like, there's nothing from his side. I guess Howard King, which is the name of his attorney, has said that Ashley lied so much that she was only with him for 2 months, if that, probably even less. And she's saying 2 years. And there's so many inconsistencies and so much stuff that it doesn't make any sense. So we only have one thing from his lawyer saying that. He said there's so many inconsistencies that I will not know where to begin. That's all I have from the guy. Not from Manson, but from the guy who's working with Manson. So I think it's okay that they're not taking it too serious. And I think it's good that he's not talking. He's not being reactive. If I was him, it's really smart that he's not being reactive and losing his cool and just going to madness. And it's cool that he's being low key. At the same time, it kind of it can look guilty. And then on top of it, he has a thing for his arrest in August. I mean, just the whole thing is so horrible. I hope that he's okay. I hope his wife is okay. I hope his health didn't suffer for any of this. And I hope that eventually everybody will vindicate it. Johnny and him. It's going to, like I was saying, it's going to take a couple of years. People need to stop thinking that it's going to happen like this. For Johnny Depp, for Johnny, for Amber, it's probably going to take another year. For people, for him to clear up, and for Manson might take 2 years. I don't know. But the good thing is that his lawyer is good, and his lawyer spoke out. And we saw a couple pictures of Manson taken by paparazzi in LA during the daytime. For people that say he never goes out in the sun, during the daytime, wearing a mask, looking okay. I mean, I want to be positive and think that he's okay. But this weirdo went on the show The View with her lawyer next to her. Like, she looks like she's so high out of her mind. But that is people's choices of makeup or surgery or drugs, whatever it is, of all the three things at the same time. And her lawyer looks like it doesn't even look like I would look more like a lawyer if I stand next to her than this guy. This guy looks like a Muppet. Like, he really is like all greasy and red. He's red because he's lying. They're lying. Both of them have red cheeks that they're freaking lying out of the butt. And I'm not hating on skin color. Okay, don't do that. I'm not. I'm saying that when you're not telling the truth, and when you're kind of, oh my God, I'm fucking up, you get blushy. Your skin gets kind of blushy and pink or red. Well, this guy has a red face. So he either drank a lot of wine before he did this segment of the TV show, or he's lying. Chances are he's lying. That's why he's red. So I'm just going to play the sound because it's amazing. No, it's not amazing. I'm not making fun of it. It's really disturbing. Especially the way, commercial. Especially the way they talk about him. They really talk about him like he did these things. Like he already did it. That's really weird. It's the first time that I hear, The View of, I don't really know if I don't know anymore with her. If she's actually smart. She's maybe the smarter, the of all of them, or she's the dumbest one. I don't know. But she went to this show, which is a big deal.
So if you have young children in the room, please put them out of the room. Let them go do something else. And so far, at least 17 women.
That's Whoopi Goldberg, okay? Actress, activist, awesome person. Now, I don't even know if I like her anymore because her attitude sucks. Saying the next things are going to follow. It's going to be very intense. So if you have children, put them in a different room. You're not even talking about something that you don't know it happened. We don't know. We don't know 100% that it did, right? So why this all this the agenda is so messed up, and they're making him sound like he's already behind bars. Like you will talk like this about Ted Bundy, or one of those guys, one of the bad guys, Richard Ramirez. I don't know, one of the bad guys, Manson, Charles Manson. Like he's already behind bars. This guy is not even in court yet. He there's not even a hearing date. There's no date. So like I always say in my other videos, unless there's a date, when there's a date, then I will shut the fuck up and I will wait. And then I will make a video about the court date. But until there's a date, all this is noise. Okay, so she's being all like, disclaimer, this is not for children. It really makes me mad.
Are reported to have made abuse claims against rock star Marilyn Manson. And yesterday, model Ashley Morgan Smithline filed a lawsuit alleging that he put her through living hell of physical, emotional, and sexual torture. She joins us now with her lawyer, Jill Elweger. Sarah, I believe, has the first question.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Ashley, can you start from the beginning? When did you first meet Marilyn Manson? And what was your relationship like at the beginning?
Hi. Thank you for having us.
I'm so bad, sorry.
I was kind of bombarded by Facebook messages, by emails, by Skype calls that I don't know if you remembered. He did all of these different things, but we first connected over a...
You know why she said that? Come on. She said that. I'm starting thinking that she's not that stupid. She said that. She implied that he might not remember these things. Because this is going to be kind of how they're going to build a case. They're going to build a case on this guy who was such a drug addict. He didn't remember hurting me. He didn't remember punching me or sexually assaulting me because he was so far gone. And this is what she's saying. First thing she say is, well, this started happening. First of all, she doesn't look emotional. She just looks shy. And I think that's an act. She's faking to be shy because this girl is not shy. We know by people that know her from before the scandal, this whole Manson thing, she parties. She's not shy. She's acting all shy. And also, the first thing she said is like, well, this guy messages on the Facebook. I don't think he remembered if he did all these things. There you go. So she's saying that to put the little seed on your head. So don't buy it. But I'm very ashamed of I'm not watching. I never watched The View anyway. So I'm not going to say I'm ashamed because they lost me as an audience. I don't care. But that shows you that if you manipulate the media, you have everything. You can have people believing there is like life on Mars if you really are good at what you do. First thing she said was he might not remember doing these things. That's a smart thing to say if you want to incriminate somebody.
Skype call. In the summer of 2010, I was modeling in Bangkok, Thailand.
I'm almost there.
God, there's an ad right after that. These people are making so much money. Okay, she was modeling in Thailand. There's a lot of inconsistencies with that whole thing because I don't know, unless she just proves shows the emails and shows her plane tickets, and I don't know where she was really.
A consensual sexual relationship, and every time you had a break from modeling in Asia, you would live with him in his Los Angeles apartment. According to you, this is when the psychological, physical, and sexual abuse started. Can you tell us about some of the things you say that he did to you?
Yes, began quite quick. I flew out, and within the next day, I was in his home.
She's already lying. Okay. Do you remember her other on the thing that she did for People's Magazine, and her whole file, which I read, it took me 2 hours to read the whole thing. She said that it started very slowly, and they started as friends. And Esme said the same thing, which is like, okay, it makes sense. And she's saying here that he started right away. That it started right away, and it's like she's already like, just like she like, people lie so much they cannot even keep up with the bullshit. And that lawyer should have said, hey, we have to kind of match up what you said 2 months ago. 2 months ago, she said that it started slowly as a friendship. Now she's saying they started right away. So see, there's already BS happening. I'm sorry I keep pausing it, but it's really hard. I'm trying not to pause it.
I woke up bound, and he was having sex with my unconscious body. So that was my first experience, and then from there it was the abuse just worsened. I was dehumanized. I was degraded. I was treated like an animal that.
There you go. That's what they do. That's what liars. That's what liars do. She was like, I was treated like an animal, and I was dehumanized, and I was degraded, and I was. She did all this not because she was suffering, because she was thinking about what she was going to say next, because she knows she's full of it. There's people sometimes that they believe their lies. I think with Everett Wood is an example of that. I think that she's so insane that she does believe that he did this to her. That's my theory. With Ashley Morgan, she knows that he didn't do that. I mean, whatever he did, but I'm saying that my opinion is that he didn't. So she has to catch her breath and do the whole like, because she's thinking, what I say next? Oh my God, what? I'm going to have to come up with something really quick. And she's not that quick. And I'm not going to say she's on drugs. I'm just saying she's not quick. She's probably doesn't even need drugs to be slow. She's just slow. So bad. I don't know if this actually is streaming or I'm unstable, like my connection.
Sorry, I don't understand.
That's my phone doing. I don't understand either. Okay.
Ashley, I know this is very difficult to talk about, and thank you for sharing your story. Let me ask you this. Over the course of 2 years, you allege he raped you multiple times, cut you in several places with a knife, kept you sleep deprived, and manipulated you into a state of physical and emotional isolation. You say it got so bad that you were down to weighing only 80 pounds. Did you ever fear that he might kill you?
Absolutely. I mean, very early on, he made it clear that my life was definitely in danger and that he could kill me at any time. I was afraid.
They've been listening to his songs way too much, like Kill for Me, and all those songs. These chicks are like seriously getting a bunch of his interviews and a bunch of his songs and just like putting them on a blender and shaking them, be like, oh, there's a statement right there. The blood pact, the killing, there's a song that he says, oh, Blood Honey is a song everybody knows. It's a song, Blood Honey, that he's like, I tie you, if you tie it up and you love it, I tie you up and I love it, why would I let you go, or something like that. That's kind of what he does. He sings about either silly things like drugs, or he sings like really, his song, it's poetry. And you might say like, oh, it's not my cup of tea, I'd rather listen to hip hop, I'd rather listen to pop, whatever, fine. But you cannot grab his lyrics and just made it a thing. Can you imagine if we all do that with everybody? Like every time a rapper or a hip hop, usually just not good rap, not good hip hop, but the bad ones, the bad kind, they all talk about like shooting people in the head, and shooting the homies. And like, can you imagine if we start believing that those people are actually shooting people? Or we believe the stuff that comes out of Lady Gaga's songs, it's just, you don't believe it. It's just a song. A song is just a poem and with music. So him in the song saying, I tie you up and I love it, you love it and I love it, or whatever, and kill for me. If you kill for me, and all that. They're just listening to his songs and pretty much making an argument on that. It's crazy. And these weirdos from The View, from the TV show, are so clueless, and they don't know who Marilyn Manson is. They only remember him from from Columbine times, probably. So they're just swallowing it. They're just buying it. I mean, I understand that she's nervous, and if this happened to you, for real, so you'd be nervous. So I'm not gonna make fun of how she's talking, because if this happens to you, you're nervous because it's trauma. It's trauma. It's re-traumatize yourself. But also you're nervous because you're lying. So there can be two things happening. This happened to her and she's nervous because she has to traumatize herself again, or she's nervous because she's either high, lying, or all that at the same time. The lawyer is not even opening his mouth yet. Just wait. I mean, if she sounds, it's not about, okay, the whole thing about the food, how did she was 85 pounds. I mean, there's pictures of her that even her ex fiance just say about her, that she had this fantasies, and she had RAPE fantasies, and just she was into weird stuff, and she was the one who was into the weird stuff, and not the dudes of her life, but she was. And there was plenty of information of her from ex-fiancés and ex-friends and people that work with her, and pictures of her Instagram, videos of her Instagram, that she's so skinny, and she either has an eating disorder, she's going yo-yo. She goes from like 150 pounds, like I am, to like 90 pounds. And that is her disorder. And I'm not making fun of it, because it's a mental disability, it's a problem. But she's using that, saying that she got that low because of him, and she's been starving herself. There's messages that she sent to a person who has an Instagram page that is really good. I think it's I Stand By Manson or Stand By Your Manson, one of those people. They're all so good. But she had a conversation with one of them, and she admits in that conversation, she said, I relapse, okay? Leave me alone. I relapse. And when she talks about relapse, she's not talking about drugs. She's talking about starving herself because she has anorexia nervosa, which is a freaking mental disorder. Are you going to blame your mental disorders on the guy or Mason or any of your exes? Like, just like be a woman and tough it up, own it. They say, I have depression, or I have anxiety, or I have an eating disorder because it's ex-boyfriend's fault. It's not a boyfriend when you sleep with a guy for like a weekend or 2 months. She said 2 years. I think it was mostly like 2 months, even less. Maybe it was only 1 month. And she doesn't remember because she was, oh yeah, she didn't know what time it was, remember? Because there was no clocks around the house. So she doesn't know if it's 2 years or 2 months. How did she knew that she weighed 95 pounds? Like she went to CVS or to Walgreens. People are going to know what I'm talking about from this town. She went to Walgreens across the street on Sunset Boulevard and actually just got on a scale, and she wrote it down. Today I weigh 95 pounds. How did she knew? Like, you can say, I was feeling shitty and I felt like I was losing so much weight because I was so stressed out. She could have said it like that, but why she's giving a number? Why you give a number? Why you say 95 pounds? Unless you can prove that. Why are you giving a number? Her lawyer is an idiot. Obviously, he didn't coach her right. Because if you're just going to say that you lost weight and it's somebody's fault, now you're on it, then the worst thing you can say is put a number to it. Just say, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating. I don't know how much I lost, but I lost a lot of weight. That sounds better than saying 95 pounds. Like, she literally was going around with a scale like every day. And I don't think Manson has a scale in his house, but somehow she knew it was 95 pounds. I gotta open the thing again because I closed it. Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna try not to interrupt. It's really hard. Ooh, it's really hard because it's like I don't want to. I know this is a problem for a lot of women and men. Men suffer from eating disorders a lot, so I don't want to make fun of it. I don't know another way to talk about it really, without adding a little bit of sense of humor. Because if I really get serious and I really talk about what it seems that she has, I can't do that because I can get in trouble. So that's what I'm making jokes, because I can't really say what I know from other people and I don't want to out them. So it's like let's just keep it light. Okay.
That he would end my life.
End your life.
So, Ashley, I understand that you traveled to Asia for modeling jobs throughout this relationship, but you say that you kept coming back to him when you would return to the United States. So, help us understand why you would keep going back, and what made you finally leave him. In fact,
I was extremely manipulated. I felt like I was coerced into, being with him in the first place. And as unsafe as it was, I felt that I couldn't escape it.
Now, Ashley,
Okay.
Marilyn Manson.
She couldn't escape it, but she was flying. She was going and doing this modeling jobs. And I'm not making fun of her as a model, saying that, oh yeah, right, you were a model. No, I believe that maybe she was working as a model, but she was doing all these modeling jobs, and then just flying with a broken nose and scars. It's like a photographer would be like, girl, I'm not taking pictures of you. You're a mess. You have black eyes, black bruises in your legs. You got whatever. But she was doing these jobs, and she wouldn't be able to do these jobs if she was beat up, because these jobs are taking pictures of oneself, right? So not only that, but also she was going around airports, going back and forth, back and forth. And now she's saying that it was unsafe. But in the beginning, she said that she was just locked. And in her file, in her transcript from her motion of emotional distress and looking for damages, which is cash, she said that she was trapped. She didn't know what time it was. She was always in his house, in his apartment, above the liquor store. She was trapped. She really couldn't leave. But now, in this one, she's saying that she was going back and forth working. So I don't understand how, unless you have a personality disorder, which I think, and again, I'm not going to go there. How can you be doing all that at the same time? It's like time travel, or there's a doppelganger that you have that looks just like you. You sending that one to Taiwan. She's talking about, and this is not even from the view, from the I'm not going to call people journalists, from the chick that works on the TV show. This is from Ashley's mouth. She's saying these things. They're not even putting things on her mouth. She's saying it. She's saying she was in and out jobs. It was unsafe. So then you were able to go to the job. Then you were able to go to the job. So you were not trapped. I mean, she can say she felt trapped emotionally. She can say those type of things, but this girl's not smart enough to even say that. When she said the 95 pounds, that cracked me up. Not because I'm not making fun of the disorder, but I'm saying that when people have an eating disorder, it's really sad, and they do have a tendency to weigh themselves every day, and they even have scales. I work with girls that they weight what they eat. It's so sad, and they count the calories, and they have a calculator where they count it's really bad. It's really, really fucked up thing to have. And for her to kind of like lie and say that was because of a guy, and not own that she has an disorder, and maybe be a role model for that, it's pathetic. The fact that she's putting it on some dude, it could be Manson, any dude, and not owning that she has that problem makes me like really mad. I don't have that problem, but I know plenty of people that do, and it's just sad. And she's just banking on 95 pounds like it's a joke. It's not. It's a very serious thing, dude. Like, Her lawyer is a muppet. I swear, it looks like a muppet.
And has never portrayed himself to be a normal guy. And there are some people who have heard your story and said that you should have known what you were getting into. What do you say to those people?
I would say that that's the problem. Are we blaming women for wearing short skirts and having a drink at a party? Are we? I mean, I again, that's the problem. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't look like a murderer, and he spent so much time defending his public persona to me. Before I even met him, that he would sit around the house in sweats, and that it was, again, like a public persona, and that wasn't who he really was. But again, I think that's
whoa. Did you catch that? She went from Jeffrey Dahmer, which we know, to Jeffrey Dahmer was, actually, he's I can't say my favorite serial killer, but he's one of the most interesting. I wrote a whole thing on Dahmer because Jeffrey Dahmer, disgusting person, kill a bunch of people. But what he would do is he was so lonely and so sick in the head that he would kill these people. A lot of them were young gay men, and he would have their bodies in his fridge, and he would just put them around his table. He was so lonely, he was eating with dead bodies anyway. And then he committed cannibalism. And the movie Silence of the Lambs, the Buffalo Bill character, is based on Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer is like up in here, up in the level of like the biggest the serial killers of all time. Is like Bundy and Dahmer, that I right there. And she's comparing Manson to Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer ate people, like, for reals. I know that because I studied that. He ate people, okay? And he will just do things. And you can even say those. I mean, you just look it up, read about it. It's a very interesting character. By the way, I say interesting, quote unquote interesting. He was a monster, but to me, that I found that interesting. How can you compare a rock star, a dude that wears makeup, okay, and has been making songs about the same thing over and over for decades, and he's just a rock star? You compare it to Jeffrey Dahmer? Like, my gosh, she thinks that they're not gonna catch it. These ladies are like my age, they're older than me or my age. They know who Jeffrey Dahmer is. They're gonna catch that. It's so fucked up to compare anybody to Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, Jeffrey Dahmer. Those are really bad guys. Jeffrey Dahmer killed people, ate them, got convicted, and died in jail because he got beat up in jail, which is kind of think it's kind of funny. But full-blown criminal. How can you compare Jeffrey Dahmer to? She's saying, well, Manson was going around in sweats on pajamas and defending his persona, saying, "Oh, it's just a persona," and hanging out with her on pajamas. I don't buy that for a second. I never hang out with Marilyn Manson in private, but I don't think that he was hanging out in pajamas. I'm sorry.
Problem that we're focusing on, like, they should have known better. Look at him.
Yeah, that's a very old trope, Ashley, and I'm very, very sorry. And just because you're with someone who's an entertainer does not mean that they have the right to do all the horrific, monstrous things that was done to you. Jay, yesterday, Ashley filed a lawsuit accusing Marilyn Manson of sexual assault, sexual battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and unlawful imprisonment. There are some people who believe that Ashley and the other women who have sued Manson are doing it for money. It sure doesn't sound like that to me, but what's your reaction?
Whoa.
Well, first of all, thank you, Megan, for
That's
asking
the
the question.
lawyer. And Megan, I don't like her anyway, never did, never will. Megan from The View, she just jumped. She said, well, it is very unfair to say these things to you. Just because you are dating an entertainer or a rock star doesn't mean that you have to be abused. And that's it. That was okay. Leave it there. But then she jumped, and then she was like, "I'm so sorry this happened to you." What would you say? "I'm sorry this happened to you" in television? You're not sure. She didn't even show you anything. No marks, no pictures, no emails. I want to see these emails that she's talking about, that he was texting her nonstop and was crazy and a binge of drugs, and it would text her 200 times. I want to see that. Where's that? Because that will be entertaining. To actually read 200 messages from Manson, and if they exist, those messages probably were not saying what she's saying that they're saying. Now the lawyer is going to speak. But did you notice how Megan from The View, she already judged the whole case? Instead of just listening and say, well, I feel for you, that something. There's other ways that she could paraphrase that differently. But she said, I'm sorry that happened to you. No, happened, ed at the end. Like you're already saying that it did. You're not leaving any space for any speculations for any people, like people on YouTube with a brain going like, well, maybe it happened, but maybe this happened too. Maybe this happened as well. Maybe it's a mix between, there's a gray area. No, black and white. Megan goes like, oh, I'm sorry this happened to you. You can't do that with somebody who hasn't even gone to court yet. I mean, it's just awful. It really is. And I'm laughing, but it's awful.
Giving me an opportunity to
That's
respond.
A lawyer.
I think for survivors like Ashley, it's important for the viewers to remember that there are only two avenues where they can seek justice. One is the criminal justice system, and Ashley has done that. She has spoken to the district attorney in Los Angeles. She has spoken to detectives. She has provided evidence. And at this point, it's out of her hands as to what decisions the district attorney in LA decides to do. But when it comes to the civil justice system, that is where a survivor like Ashley can take control of the narrative and to change the timeline into one that they are able to dictate. And so here,
Great.
Ashley is able to seek justice on her
Let's
own
change
terms.
it.
And that is extremely important for every survivor out there to know that through the civil justice system, regardless of what the criminal justice system does or does not do, through the civil justice system, she can try to get her life back.
You know what he's talking about? Gossip. He's pretty much saying, well, if your case is not bad enough for the criminal system, because we know she has no case, but let's pretend, then the civil system is going to help you out. So just go on Instagram and go on Facebook and do all the gossip. And that's the way that he said, that's the way that she is actually taking control over the narrative. Taking control. He said it with his own words. First of all, he's saying is bullshit. Because I know for a fact that that's not how it works. But second of all, he's just saying it to make this people, whatever the audience is, this audience, first of all, completely believe her. There's no second opinions. It's like, sorry, this happened to you. Past tense, this happened. And also making her, look very powerless and very, like she doesn't even, in the People magazine interview, she was just looking a little bit more strong, a little bit more like cocky, a little bit more arrogant. I would say she was very arrogant. And obviously her manager and her lawyer, whoever, they watched that and they were saying, no, you look too cocky, too arrogant. You look like a bad bitch. And this is not what we want from you. We want you to look like a poor little hurt little pigeon. So now let's go on TV and let's actually change and flip it. First, you said that it took a little bit. You guys were friends, and then you guys became something else. Now, in this little interview, she's saying that it happened right away. Which one is it? Then the 95 pounds thing that just hits me in the head is I don't understand how she can be so sure that she was 95 pounds. And then her lawyer, the lawyer itself is saying that if you cannot make it to the criminal justice, you just make it to the civil justice. That is so dangerous. That's pretty much what it means. It's exactly what it means. It's what's happening right now. And that is gossip. It's not justice, it's gossip. Let's just gossip about it. Because it's not so bad to take it to, it's not a crime. Of course it's not a crime because it didn't happen. That's what she's fighting is a civil lawsuit. And that's the problem. That is it's hard for Manson to, I don't know, maybe it's not, but I don't know what he has up his sleeve. Hopefully he has some stuff, but it's hard to unprove this. It's hard to prove that this didn't happen. You see what I mean? because of the civil lawsuit. It will be easier for him to just give them the money, and I hope he doesn't do that. But if he does, I will understand. So it's just, this is way too stressful. And he's not been charged of a crime; it's a civil lawsuit. So this lawyer is pretty much telling for any women out there, well, it's okay if you got slapped only once, and it's not too bad. For a criminal lawsuit, just come see me, and we do a civil one. Through sorry, God, I have allergies. Through Instagram and Facebook. That's pretty much the lawsuit they're doing. It's a social media lawsuit, and it's really setting a really bad example to women, people. But let's just say women now, because it's just like what they're trying to do. It's setting a really bad example. It's like setting the example of like, hey, you can lie and you're gonna be believed at face value, because all you need is a lawsuit. It's a civil lawsuit. It's not too bad because it wasn't a crime. So you can just post it on Instagram, get one of these freaking lame loser lawyers, and we're gonna go and file against this guy. You know why they're saying that? Because in order for this whole thing to become a crime, there has to be proof. That's why she can't go to the justice system. The crime suit, and it's a civil. Civil is everything. Civil is like me going to McDonald's and saying this coffee was too hot. I just burned my mouth with it. Right? That's a civil lawsuit. So I just go and file against McDonald's. That's kind of what she's doing. This is not really connected to a sex crime, if you think about it, because a sex crime will be a criminal justice, not a civil lawsuit. But this is the lawyer she has, I guess. It's kind of stupid. He looks really dumb too, just cracking me up.
For Marilyn Manson, sent us the following statement. We strongly deny Ms. Smithline's claims. There are so many falsehoods within her claims that we wouldn't know where to begin to answer them. This relationship, to the limited extent it was a relationship, lasted less than a week in 2010. Manson hasn't seen Ms. Smithline since then. Ashley, how do you respond to that?
I would say that it's further proof that he's denying any accountability at all, that he completely takes no responsibility for anything he's done.
Why? Who he takes?
And Sonny, if I could add to that, it's one thing to issue a statement to the media.
1 week and a half. Wait, I was tripping. I thought that she was with him for 2 months. So 1 week and a half. Yeah. Whoa.
And we'll look forward to seeing what the evidence shows in this case, and the evidence will back up the claims.
Me too, dude.
We're the strong mind.
Me too. He didn't even say what type of unprofessional lawyer is that when you have a lawyer, usually they introduce themselves, doctor, whatever the heck, or ma'am, or miss something, or Mr. something. This guy just started talking right away. That shows you how unprofessional he is. So 1 week and a half they were together for.
So let me ask you, Ashley, what do you ultimately want to see happen to Marilyn Manson?
I want him to be held accountable. I want him to take responsibility for his actions. At this point, I've done everything. We've done everything that we can.
I haven't.
I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury, but I really hope that he is held accountable for his actions.
Now, 17 other women, including actress Evan Rachel Wood, have accused Manson of abuse, and you say their stories are very similar to yours.
Oh.
He denies their accusations as well, but what has it been like to have this group of women who understand what you say that you've been through?
It's actually been extremely helpful having,
of course,
a network of
oh
other
my
survivors.
God. Sorry, I'm reacting like live to this because I actually, to be truthful, I didn't watch this. before I sat down. I was like, I'm gonna play it. That's when I'm reacting to it. She said network. There's a network. There's like all these girls like just sitting around talking. Did you see like for real victims and for real women, they're been with guys that are doing the things to them they're accusing Manson to do? Can you imagine if we just sit around and go like, oh, this is a network? You know, I'm just like, you can say meetings, you know, like you can don't say network, dude. It's like, it's not a company. Well, it is obviously because you're all looking for some cash, but this network of women, oh my god, it drives me crazy that she doesn't even know how to lie. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, at least learn a little bit, watch some movies or something. She said this network of women. That's very interesting. She used that word. I think so.
To
are very similar to yours. He denies their accusations as well, but what has it been like to have this group of women who understand what you say that you've been through?
It's actually been extremely helpful having a network of other survivors who really understand what we all went through so similarly. We have spoken, we've supported each other, and everyone's support has been unbelievable.
Yeah, because it's a network. That's why.
So, Ashley, I just want to say your coming out is probably going to help a lot of.
Oh my
other
God,
women
this is
coming
such
out.
a jerk off. I
What do
hate
you want
this.
them to know about your story
this.
and stories like this?
That was my only hope. I was hoping if I can help one woman leave an abusive relationship, leave or report
You're
a
welcome.
rape
I mean,
after
thank you, Ashley.
it happens. If I could help one person and take one person out, then that would be enough. I continue to hope that more and more people speak out against.
Oh yeah, let's just make the
people,
network bigger.
You know, Brian Warner, or if they're, you know, anyone. I mean, this is never okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like birds on my window. What the fuck? That was 10 minutes, and that's it. There's no more. That was like hurtful. Hurtful in my brain. I keep interrupting because I really I didn't watch. I should have. I didn't watch this until I said to watch it. Oh my God. Okay. So first she said, I don't even have to write this thing. This is we're all smart here, right? So it happened right away. Her statement to go, she said it happened slowly. Then she said that she was so starving so much. She had no food, that she weighed 95 pounds. I don't know how she knew the pounds, the amount of pounds, unless she had access to a scale, or unless she was going to a girlfriend's house and they put themselves on the scale. How do you know that it's 95 and not 87 or 105? Why? Weird. That's weird. That's sus, right? That's very sus to me. That she knew exactly the weight. And then like all this bullshit about her going in and out from modeling jobs, flying, you know, to modeling jobs. Apparently, they're supposed to, you have to be like half naked or naked, or at least you have to show skin. That's your job. So how will that happen if you're bloody and bruised? And like she described it on her court filing, that she was black and blue, pretty much. So she was black and blue and cut with a knife and branded with heat. And how can you work as a model if you have all that going on? And then it's funny. It's not funny. It's very sad how they try to manipulate everybody on this, saying that Megan person saying, I'm sorry this happened to you. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't maybe you can do that in private, you know, go to her dressing room after the show and say like, Ashley, I'm so sorry this happened to you. But on TV, like you're already acknowledging that actually this already happened. It's very dangerous to do that. It's just like jumping. It is a witch hunt. That's what I keep saying. The coven, the witches, but it's like the opposite. Instead of him being the witch, they are. But it's it's the same that they did to him in the 90s. But this is actually, I don't know if this is worse, but it's in the same of, well, we're just going to say this and we're going to be believed at face value because he's the bad guy. His job is being the bad guy for decades, 25 years of being the bad guy. So you will think by now that people like these idiots from The View, they know that about him, or they Google him, they know who he is. I don't know. And another thing is, it's very interesting what she said. Being around the network of women is very thankful. I'm very, very thankful to find this network of women. That really got that. If you ever are the victim of anything in your life, you won't describe yourself as be part of a network. I find that really strange, really, really poor choice of words there, actually. And then her lawyer saying, well, it wasn't bad enough for a criminal case, so we filed a civil one. That shows you right there what type of pathological liars these people are. And then he said, well, this is good because Ashley is getting power and taking control of the narrative. No, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to let the judge decide on things. You're not supposed to take control of the narrative. Manson doesn't supposed to do it either. He doesn't supposed to do it. She's not supposed to do it. Nobody should have control over the narrative. There's evidence, and then there's a judge saying, "Oh, this is true," or "This is a lie." But her own lawyer saying, "This is good for her because she can take control of the narrative." I can't believe they actually said this on TV. Like, it's just like a joke. Between this and Amber Heard having a child, this is a strange couple of days. Okay, this was yesterday. I didn't see that. Traumatizing. Anyway, it's amazing. In our, this is probably glitchy and unstable connection I'm getting. It's been raining and we got thunder and rain. It's a tornado season here for at least a week. So when this happens, earthquake season. When this happens, the connection goes like they go crazy. Like sometimes Netflix works, but YouTube won't, and vice versa. So if this is very glitchy, I need to know. So I redo it and do it again. It's probably the way to go. But I want to just get on it right away. But I got this out of my system. Amber Heard has a child, not had a child, but now she's gonna have a child forever, which is it's mind blowing. And now, and Ashley Morgan Smith line or whatever she wants to be called, we know because her ex-fiance, really cool dude, legit guy, his name is Tom, and he got the info. He got the info, and he's pretty much saying what Manson, the lawyer, is saying, that maybe it was like a week and a half or a 2 weeks relationship, not like 2 years, not like 2 months. And also there's a lot of stuff on her that she was the freaky one, that she had fantasies about freaky stuff and whatever. And she's the one that starves herself because she has an eating disorder. Why it has to be somebody else's fault? If she wants to help women, she needs to be talking about her eating disorder. And it just maybe help somebody through that. I think that would be super, way more helpful than trying to throw people under the bus, because you don't want to look at yourself and what you have done to yourself. When you starve yourself, you are anorexic. It sucks. You have eating disorder. It's horrible. It's a nightmare. You're not even owning that. That's not good for girls or for women that are watching, that you put your disorder on some dude that you slept with for only a week and a half. It's amazing. I did not know the week and a half. I thought it was 2 months. Somebody told me it was 2 months. Oh my God. it's been all over the place that she's the one that had weird fantasies, and and I believe that part. I believe those people don't really have nothing to gain from the truth. She has everything to gain from lying, and it's just period. Well, this network of women, and her lawyer is really a dangerous person, because you can't go on. This is national television. Then The View. This is not even cable. Okay, this is national TV. Go on national TV and saying the message for women and girls everywhere is going to be, hey, if your story is not too bad, like you don't have a black eye, you can come and do a civil lawsuit, and you could, like, this is pretty much what he said using different words, and that's embarrassing. But he's a lawyer. He's not even a lawyer. He's a paid actor, and we can an actor. I don't know. That was Ashley. And I'm gonna end it here, so it's not a glitchy mess. Anyway, it's gonna upload it later. So I'm doing that because it is not good. So that's what I wanted to do around midnight. There's not when I'm more energized, because I have to go work right now. this is not the thing that they can. So it's not good. It's not enough for a criminal suit. You can go do a civil. That is very dangerous, like, idea to put out there, because the amount of people that can start lying, men and women. Anybody can say, like I said, I'm just gonna sue McDonald's because I burned my tongue drinking coffee that was too hot. And I'm telling you that you can believe me. Anybody will believe me. It's really strange. It's not about a man person or not open conversation about their own agenda. We know they do. So maybe when somebody comes up, this is really hard for me, for other people to believe it, because it all comes from girls that they did benefit to some people, and it's horrible. But not her. Nope. My rambling, and